Can you get addicted to Viagra or Cialis or like Hims? You see a lot of the stuff out there that are like ED meds, and can you get addicted to those? Yes, I believe that you can. And here is actually why. Because as an addict, sex was always involved. Sex was always involved in my active addiction of alcohol and cocaine. And when you're on alcohol and cocaine, guess what doesn't work? And guess what a lot of addicts want to do? Sex. Well, this doesn't work. You want to do sex. So what are you going to do? You're going to also add into that medication. What did I do? I would throw in Viagra and Cialis. I would pop these different pills. And I truly believe that you can become addicted and dependent on these. And this is how and why. If you're new to the channel, hit the like and subscribe button. What's up, guys? My name is Eric, and I'm a recovering cocaine and alcoholic addict. I've been through a lot in life, and I like to share my testimonies, my stories of what I've been through, just to help the ones out there struggling feel less alone. And one of the things that I've always brought up is, do you think that you can get addicted or dependent on like Viagra, Cialis, Hims, Blue Chew? There's all these different ED meds out there because, guys want to be like standing proud. And also later on in life, let's face it, this might not work that well. But can you get dependent on these? I truly believe you can. And this is my experience with it, is when I was actively using, I was drinking 2 to 3 fifths of vodka a day, and I'm doing 1 to 2 8-balls of Coke a day. Well, with that much alcohol and cocaine in my body, that doesn't work. But it doesn't mean that I was still not chasing dopamine highs, which sex gives you. Sex gives you this massive dopamine high. It gives you this rush. Cocaine and alcohol mixed together gives you a very euphoric feeling. Guess what happens? You want to have sex. This doesn't work. So what do? You pop Viagra, you pop Cialis, you pop these different pills because they are easier to get. And it screwed me up because for the longest time through my addiction, I was constantly taking these. And yes, it's dangerous to mix that with alcohol because it was a big reason why I blacked out a lot. I don't remember a lot. Does it affect everything in your system because of your circulation? Yes, it does. But here's the worst part ever is once I got sober, I felt that this wouldn't work because if I didn't take Viagra or Cialis, it's not going to work because it never worked before when I was in active addiction. That is the insanity of an addict. Is I literally got dependent for the longest time on Viagra, Cialis, that I had to take it anytime I was going to have any kind of sex because I felt that my thing wouldn't work because I had like literally mentally programmed myself that if I didn't take one of these, this was not going to work. And it was something that I would fixate on in the middle of it. And guess what? I just couldn't get hard unless I took this stuff. And that's where I think sometimes we can really screw ourselves up, especially if you're taking this stuff and it's not prescribed to you, you truly don't have ED, that you literally become so mentally dependent on something that it can ruin your sex life for you for a while. And it took a long time to actually break that of like working out and circulation and getting out of my mindset that I was dependent and needed this to have sex, because that's the worst. I'll tell you this, there's nothing worse than getting sober, wanting to have sex, and then this isn't working because you can't get out of your own head because you're literally like, well, I didn't take one of these, so it's not going to work. That is our insanity. And with addicts, you can't rationalize with us anything different because that was my reality for so long. And so, yes, I do believe that these can really screw you up if you take them and you're not prescribed them and you actually don't need them. I think it is something that it creates almost this effect in your brain where you become mentally dependent on it. And I'm not a doctor. I'm not a counselor. I just share from personal experience. And unfortunately, this was a combination that I used so much through my life of mixing Viagra with cocaine and alcohol, Cialis, to get it up that even sober, all I could default back to is the only time I could ever get it up was with this, even though not taking into account the amount of alcohol and everything else in my system. And I literally could like give myself ED. As weird as it sounds. And I know I'm not the only one that's done this. I mean, that's the crappy part about it is we become obsessed and dependent on it and mentally dependent on it. And we put ourselves in that position. I mean, I might be insane, and this was something that I wanted to share on because I do know a lot of people who out there who have hit me up that have said that they've become dependent on different items and tools like that to have sex after addiction. Because let's face it, after addiction, we don't get a lot of dopamine from a lot of different areas. So what do we default to is a lot of times sex, unfortunately. So when it comes to it, this is something that you might want to be aware of and watch out for because it can get, it's not as extremely dangerous per se, but it is something that you become dependent on. I mean, hit the like and follow button, comment down below. I'd love to hear your experience. I'd love to hear what you've been through because I think the more that we share about all sorts of different topics, especially through addiction, help other people and it helps other people fighting through it. And I think that's what it's all about is just knowing that we're not alone, knowing that it does get better. If you click the links in the bio, I have links to my website, I have links to NA and AA. And for the ones getting sober right now, and the ones fighting through life right now, just know that it gets better. And that everything that you're going through, it sucks, but it's so worth it.